What does Ezekiel Elliott eat?
Oh man, he eats crow. That's what Zeke eats. There's nothing better than like mid-play watching somebody stop and put their hands on their hips. That is high quality.
I was pretty proud. Pretty proud of my.
Oh look, the play's going the other way. Yeah. I got a good vantage point from here.
Oh man, at least
my suspension starts next week. I'm just gonna sit this play out. Oh wait, it's not starting. Oh, sorry.
There's been a lot of awful football everywhere. Hey everybody watching live. I swear if you write stuff in the chat, there's a good chance I'll miss it. But do it anyway if you want to get on the air.
If you want me to apologize to you tomorrow on Twitter, by all means, say hi to us in the chat. You got the chat up, right?
Yeah, chat is up.
Okay, so I don't have the email up. What are the people's names at Vivac? Michelle and Andy?
I don't have my email up either. Michelle is who I've been talking to. At least this is live now.
Yeah. Hey Jeff, while you're at it, can I get your social security number and your mother's maiden name?
Yeah, 662-498787.
Oh, you work for LifeLock? Because the best. He's like, here's my social security number, bitches. I wish somebody would try to take my identity.
Let's see.
Because then he pays himself $1 million.
That's right. I mean, I just the dark web, just giving it to everybody. Did I forward you all the emails from
you did, but it's way back, and I'm just.
Oh, if I can find it before you guys can, then we got problems. As all of our viewers live can attest.
Oh my God, we have 8 viewers right now.
We do?
No, not at all.
Oh,
that's just my poor eyesight. I see zeros as 8s.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't find it.
Oh, because I think it's on Facebook. That's why I can't find it. Everybody, shot.
Everybody. Yeah.
Wow. We went 2 different routes there.
Rock your body. Am I sexual?
Where did your email string go, dude?
Yeah, it was totally there.
Michelle is the wife of Jesse.
Ventura?
Yes. And then Chris is the other winemaker. So Jesse and Chris are the winemakers.
And Michelle and Chris has a wife, and I don't know her name.
Correct. I don't have that information.
Oh, I better do a quick Google. I'll say have to do a mea culpa this evening. Come on, Google. You fucker.
Yeah,
on, you
Google.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have Google. I don't have Google on this. Vivac Winery.
Come in. Oh, hold on. There's some antics about to go down.
Uh-oh. Alex has a magic trick.
Show them your face right now.
Dab.
Dab cat.
Son, I don't know how, but I'm gonna work Dab Cat into the show tonight.
Please, Owen, let me listen to it sometime.
Oh my God, he just comes in here in hysterics. That was pretty funny.
Liliana. And I'm pretty sure I met Jesse at the wine festival. Yeah.
So that was that the Alianico that you bought and you kept going back to it? Was that it?
Well, that's when I went to remember I texted Jeff while I was at the winery. I said, "We're doing Gruner this week, right?" And then they had a Gruner there, so I bought it.
Gotcha, that's right.
And then I fell in love with the Alianico. I went to the wine fest in Albuquerque, and they didn't have the Alianico, so I had to go to Tularosa, and they charged me $15 for a glass.
Oh, sons of bees!
And they love our show apparently.
Well, what I should say is, and a winery to be named later charged me $15 for a glass of their Alianico.
Oh, jeez.
So but then I'll kind of work something else in. Okay, beer bots. Where are you, beer bots? Excuse me. Cha-ching. All right. Rise of the beer bots. Do we have any music? Do we have any music from like Terminator or anything?
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll just cue Eccles. Can we get some Terminator music, please?
Dun 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 dun.
Terminator X. All right, let's do this, guys. Hey, everybody. Oh, I've got a story. I have a story, John.
Do you? Well, I don't really have a story. I just have the pre-show mea culpa. So let's do that. I'll do that after Jeff introduces. How's that?
Okay. And I'm going to put Jeff's got a story.
Jeff's got a story. Boop, 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 boop,
of
boop,
Jeff's
boop,
has
boop.
a story.
Jeff has a story.
I'll just tweet it like that. Everybody. Yeah, it was funny. I showed Marcy that video and she's like, "Did you say thank you for us? We like drinking?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You couldn't record that?" I'm like, I had one bottle of sparkling wine. I couldn't record it again. She's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." All right.
Oh, we better win. When do we know? When do we find out when we win?
It's on International Podcast Day on September 30th.
When's September 30th? Well, that's soon.
Not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday.
What day is today? The 20th?
20th, yeah.
It's my dad's birthday tomorrow. Marcello's 70.
Well, I better change the intro then. Not that you guys can hear it.
Oh no, Amaya solo.
Donde estuchi?
We like drinking podcast. No más solo.
No, my solo. All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready. John, you ready?
John, you ready?
John dropped.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Bring it in here. Fingers. Just bring it in here. No, bring it to me. I'm waiting for John to rejoin anyway. Come here. Well, this is your script. Oh, thanks, Nate Dog. There's no escaping Dab Cat. Yeah, that's the truth. There's John. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Here we go.
Buonasera, sono Marcello. Ascoltate al We Like Drinking podcast, dove non bere mai solo. Ciao tutti.
Oh, God damn it. I forgot about the ciao, baby.
Ciao tutti. Tutti frutti.
All right,
Oh.
number 2.
Buonasera, sono Marcello. Ascoltate al We Like Drinking podcast, dove non bere mai solo. Ciao tutti.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us for the We Like Drinking Show, episode 141. In this episode, we'll be discussing bad wine writing, brew-bots, and festivalpalooza. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. All right. Drinkers.
Drinking.
That's what we're doing tonight. We're going to get some drinking on. We're going to get our drink on. We are going to say hi to you, and we are going to get into happy hour 141. I got my Yahoos with me. Who do I got? I got Jeff Solomon. He's the king of all wine media and our wine blogger. I got John Ruyak in the house. He's our commercial brewer, and he likes to tell stories. And I'm your host, Jeff Eccles, and I need reading glasses.
You've taken them off once already.
I know when the count is already 1.
I was trying to on the sly say I heard some echo, but it's all good. Don't even. It's gone. We're perfect.
Yeah, I did some mid music swapping there to get us back on track. So
that was fantastic. You know what? We're breaking like the 5th dimension right now. Our listeners are like, "What are you guys talking about?" Just know something really cool happened.
Jeff got a new computer.
I can see the music, man.
I
thought you were going to talk longer while I was drinking. Well, we're already off the rails, so here we go.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Happy 70th birthday to my dad, Marcello. I love you, man. You're having fun in Lake Tahoe right now. Enjoy the snow that's not there.
It was my dad's birthday. It was my dad's birthday yesterday. Awesome.
Really? Well,
yeah, I sent him a card, and it had a banana on it, and one was bright yellow, and one was starting to get dark spots. And inside it says, "Getting a day older only matters to bananas." And then I wrote myself in parentheses, "or when you turn 77 years old." Sort of thought that was funny, but not really.
Oh, that's great. I like to think of my dad as a banana that started to get spots.
Well,
hey, I'm Marcello. I'm like an effed up banana.
All right, so how you guys doing? It sounds like you're doing pretty well. Jeff Solomon, my friend,
Yes.
What's in your glass tonight?
Hey, you know how it goes. I had one of those weird, crazy days. So I'm like, hey, let me go find a sample that was sent to me about a year ago. So
Is that the proper aging time for samples? Is that because you tend to lag a year?
It tends to be about a year. I hope this is a year. This is the Rutini 2012 Malbec from Mendoza, Argentina. This was sent to me by Gregory White PR. This has a suggested retail price of $35. 12 months aging, 50% new French oak, 20% new American oak from winemaker Mariano de Paola. And I got to tell you, this 2012 Malbec is legit. I'm liking it. There's some good acid here. It's not too woody. And I feel like a lot of the second wave Argentine Malbecs are getting very like woodsy with their overuse of oak. And I was kind of scared when I was reading that. But, you know, maybe sitting on this sample for a year was a good idea. Maybe that oak kind of mellowed out. This is very nice, good acidity, food friendly, and yet it's ballsy enough to stand on its own. I like it.
Very nice.
There's a snake in my boot. He said witty, so I just had to.
Oh, that's a Toy Story thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 3-year-old watches that.
John is the we like
Good.
drinking version of Tourette's most of the time. But so John, what's in your glass tonight?
I am enjoying an Angry Goats triple IPA.
Ooh.
9.3%. So I don't know it's really a triple, but it was a percent higher than the double. So what happened was I've got a lot of stories tonight. This was back in June, and I brewed this way back in June, and I told Eric before I leave, I'm going to check the gravity on it because I don't think the yeast is going to finish it out, and because I filled the mash tun to the brim, and and when I left check the gravity, it was still over 20. So, geez, what's the bricks on that? Like, still like 7.
Oh wow.
7.5. So I'm like, oh, I got to do something. That's going to be way too sweet. So I had this cask conditioning yeast that's high alcohol tolerant, and I said, yeah, in a couple days, throw that in there, and it went from like 8.1% to 9.3 by the time I came back a couple weeks later. So I actually kegged this, and it's actually taken a while for the 85 IBUs to calm down. So this thing is clear as a bell and 9.3% and got a little bit of a Citra and a Zaka hop kick. I'm digging it. And it's 9.3%, so I wanted to make sure I had enough, so I filled a growler.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. The last thing you want is to not have enough.
So are you giving that one a special name? It's like Angry the Younger, and if people want to taste, like they get like a ticket with a random number on it, and then you call numbers out, and then people get to walk up to the bar and then order it, right?
No, actually, it's called Faceplant Triple IPA.
That's perfect.
That is good. I like that name. All right, John, back to your stomping grounds. I'm drinking a little Gruet here.
Oh, nice. Is that the thing that you decapitated yesterday?
Yeah, man. It was look how bad I had to break that thing off.
Whoa, that is jagged, man.
It was not a clean cut. I had to hit that with some authority with that sword. But
yeah,
maybe
your samurai training didn't come in handy, I guess.
it did apparently, because I was able to lop it off.
You looked like a musketeer, but I know there was some bend in that sword. So.
Hey, TMI. Anyway.
So it's nice. I'll be honest. I like their non-pink sparklers quite a bit more than I like their pink sparklers.
Oh, their blanc de noir is Blanc de noir is fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. All right. Well, I say we get into this. It's one. Oh, did you have something else?
Yeah, I wanted to. Well, first, you got a new computer?
Yeah, I've had it for like 6 weeks, John.
Yeah, but we haven't heard the music. We haven't had the intros for a while, and
Yeah, like I said,
we just been guessing from the head bobs that when
Right.
the music's over.
Eighth dimension, guys. It's a dream within a podcast right now.
like Jeff and I were talking about earlier, I did some mid-music changes so that you guys could hear it.
He pushed a button, and it was
Oh,
just for the benefit of the people recording it, and everybody at home has no idea what we're talking about right now.
But at least we talked about it twice.
I hadn't joined the show just yet. I was having another conversation with my spouse.
Become a Patreon, and you can sit in and push and not hear music with us and push a button.
Okay, so I have a pre story because actually I'm turning over the storytelling to Solomon today. So I have to, I guess, give an apology out, and what can I say? I'm old and I forget. So this was months ago in July, and my wife went camping up in Red River. We stopped at a couple wineries in the Rio Grande Valley on the way back, and we went into one winery, the second one we were at, and I said, I think we have to taste a Gruner this week. And because the winery we're at had a Gruner, and we went on the show, and everybody was tasting their Gruner, and I was really digging mine because I liked the tasting that we had, and we went through the whole spiel, and I guess I never mentioned where I got it.
No, you just kept saying it. You just kept calling it the winery.
The winery. So, anyway, fast forward 2 months later, my wife and I are at the Albuquerque Harvest Wine Festival, and I go up to this winery, and I'm talking to one of the winemakers, and I got my We Like Drinking shirt on, and they're like, We Like Drinking, what's that? And I turn around, and it's got the thing on the back, says I like drinking before it was cool. He's like, oh, man, we love podcasts. I said, yeah, give it a chance. Check it out. And so, and we were, I was really digging on the Alianico that I had at that place, but they didn't bring any to the wine festival. So I was really kind of bummed when I had to go to some other unnamed winery and pay $15 for a glass of Alianico, which I think is my new go-to Italian wine. That stuff is Italian style grape because it's not Italian. It's made in New Mexico. Anyway, big, juicy goodness. So anyway, they started listening to the podcast, and they listened to the Gruner episode. I never mentioned their name, so I just wanted to.
And you still haven't.
I did that on purpose. You see what I did there? Anyway, the name of the winery is Vivac, Vivac, and I spoke to Jesse. And for a long time at the Harvest Wine Festival, and I guess Michelle's been emailing back and forth about how the heck did I forget to mention who they are. So to Jesse and Michelle and to Chris and Liliana, I'm very sorry. My wife and I really dig the place. There was lizards running or drinking your wine. We had a great time. You guys make fantastic wine, and I hope you'll accept my apology, and maybe you'll come on the show sometime.
They will come on the show. It's just a matter of when.
Cool.
We're working on the details on when they're going to be able to come on. We tried to fast track it, but it's they're in the middle of harvest right now, so there was no way it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're working on it. I'm excited to get them on. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a really fun episode. We're already talking about some of the stuff we're going to be doing. So check it out. And it's just, go ahead.
I really like the Alianico.
From the winery.
If you have some of from the winery, Vivac in Dixon, New Mexico. And if you, I didn't get to try the Nebbiolo, so anyway, I like Nebbiolo too, but I really dig the Alianico.
Man,
hint, hint.
You're subtle, John. All right, so Vivac Winery, Michelle, thank you for reaching out to us. I've been mocking John most of the week. Jeff joined in, so know that we've been doing our job. And there goes John. Just finished his first of the 9% beers. So
actually, that's my third glass. Yeah, I did have some with dinner.
Since we're not even to the first segment yet, let's move on so that we don't hear John snoring by the end of the show, and let's get to grape, hop, or pop culture reference. This is where I give these guys a term, and they tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference. The term this week is, hold on, let me set this up for you guys. The term this week is San Juan Ruby Red. So is San Juan Ruby Red a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference? Jeff Solomon, I believe it's your turn to start.
Hey, well, I was first going to ask. That's 4 words. The proper name, San Juan, and then Ruby, and then Red.
Yes, that is correct.
God, did you guys see images of Puerto Rico this morning?
I did not.
As Hurricane Maria hit, like it's rough, and Puerto Rico is such a beautiful country, and so when you say San Juan, I just cannot help but think about those beautiful brick streets in Old Town, and I hope everybody is doing fine. Every week we talk about a new hurricane. I hope that that's not what it is. So I'm gonna go with, they don't grow grapes in San Juan. They do grow coffee, but they also have some beer in Puerto Rico. And so I am going to say that San Juan Ruby Red is a Puerto Rican hop. To all the Baricuas, it's a Puerto Rican hop.
All right. I like your guess. I always love your stories that go along with it. John is either having a stroke or
and John, please. You know how Jeff likes to do little triggers? Like, that was for you.
Go ahead, John.
So Puerto Rico's a country? I thought they were the 51st state. Anyway, Jeff Eccles lives in Colorado where pot is legal. So I'm thinking San Juan Ruby Red is some sort of medical or recreational varietal that's on some sort of like show like Narcos or something like that. So I'm going with pop culture reference.
It's like an indica sativa blend. It's got some highs and some lows at the same time.
I gotta say,
it comes with a side dish of mofongo.
Two of, like, honestly, those may be my 2 most favorite answers for grape hop or pop culture reference we've ever had. Jeff Solomon, you are the winner this week of grape hop or pop culture reference, but I kind of got it. I may have to call it a tie. I may have to call this one a tie because it is a wild hop found in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado, and has with a fruity aroma and slightly sweet notes. But so John got it, Colorado. Jeff got the hop. But since it is a grape hop or pop culture reference, I'm going to have to give it to Jeff Solomon this week.
All right. I'll make my concession phone call.
It grows wildly in El Yunque, the only tropical rainforest in a U.S. territory. El Yunque.
And that was San Juan Ruby Red. Oh, man.
I always
Making
feel
this
so
switch back and forth.
enculturated after I hear that. It's just
Yes.
I feel better about myself.
That was a good one, guys. That was a good one. And it's always good when we're 20 minutes in and just getting to Booze News, where we discuss interesting, noteworthy, or sometimes idiotic stories. I've got a lot of silences to take out of this episode. Jeff Solomon, how about you kick this one off?
Yeah, this was really something where the headline caught my eye, and I almost feel like the article is more of shall be a discussion amongst us as opposed to really reporting of facts. In Eater. At the beginning of this month, they had an article entitled "Why is so much wine writing bad?" And so I had to click the link, I don't mean to brag, but I was an award-nominated wine writer. Like, granted, it was in the video category, but still, I consider myself a wine writer. They were interviewing for the Eater podcast called Upsell. They were interviewing Jay McInerney, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name incorrectly, so I apologize, dude. You're not listening to the show anyways. But if you are Jay McInerney, quit listening to the show. Sorry. So... they were interviewing him, and he's been a novelist for a while, but he has a weekly wine column in the Wall Street Journal. And when they were interviewing him and they were asking him, what got you into wine writing? And he said it mostly appealed to him because after 12 years as a novelist, he was just like, he was really upset of how bad most wine writing is. He was saying, like, basically people get too technical. Like, they talk too much about malolactic fermentation and about the type of oak that was used and
Bricks.
what was the degrees bricks and stuff like that. And he said that there's way too many references to flowers. And what he was saying is, like, how about what always appealed to me anyways was if I'm talking about tasting notes, forget about trying to pick out what type of rose it is. I would rather equate this wine to Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, or equate it to some sort of feeling or something like that. Anyways, what I thought was really interesting here is that, I think there's a lot of wine writers, and maybe we'll get a sense of it at the Wine Bloggers Conference in a couple months. I get a sense that there's probably a lot of bloggers that are taking this very, very personally right now. And they're like, hey, man, hey, are you saying I don't know how to write? And the reality is, for the vast majority of wine bloggers, and I'm gonna put myself in that category just so you feel better. You don't know how to write, and for most of you, you're not really an expert in wine either. So I just want you to take that and accept that. And for those of you with credentials on either end, you are an exception as opposed to the vast majority of wine writers out there. What I was thinking about is that, for the wine writers that I do like to read from, I expect one of two things, and it's awesome when it's both. I think Joe Roberts does a really good job of this. So does Jeff Kralik. Stacy Briscoe does a good job of this, where it's somebody that has an expertise in wine, but they also know how to write. The reality is that it's not just enough to be passionate about something if you can't convey what you're thinking to somebody else, and if you can't make it interesting, you know, it just does become a whole lot of noise. You know, one of the reasons why Stacy Briscoe is such a good writer, and I know Stacy, you're listening. Oh, I'm so awesome. One of the reasons why is because like she was a journalist ever before she was a wine writer, right? You know, when you talk about Jay McInerney, you know, how do you end up being the wine dude at the Wall Street Journal? Because he was a novelist. He has a background in writing, you know. It's interesting. One of my favorite podcasters rarely podcasts, and I have the pleasure of knowing him, my buddy C. Colton from the Beatdown Show. He is somebody that I really enjoy listening to, and it's because he has a background in journalism and broadcasting, and on some level, you know, we do need to understand, like, you know, I think that Jay McInerney definitely has a point there, that most wine writing isn't good, that what we really do need to focus on is the feelings that wine evokes, and you should have a level of expertise as well, but the expertise that you have should not be the language can't be exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, if you want more people to enjoy it, you know, you have to put things in a way that anybody could understand and anybody could get a kick out of. And so I just thought it was an interesting thought exercise. And I'm just wondering, do you agree? And John, I want to hear from you too, because I think beer writers can definitely fall into this category too. Do you think that most wine writing and beer writing is not good?
Is it who are we going to? Me?
Yeah, the one talking.
A couple of things. Back when We Like Drinking started as a blog, and Jim Myers was a regular contributor to that, and Jim is written professionally, and so was always, and I always considered myself a good writer. But when you're out of practice, you know, writing is a muscle. You have to do it a lot to be good at it. And I was always nervous about it. And I was, you know, and Jim was always good about it. He's like, maybe you ought to do this, that, or the other thing, or this is a run-on sentence and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just because you know words doesn't mean you know how to write them. And I'll equate it to music. Much to my wife's dismay, I got a guitar amplifier last week for the first time. Now, I lent my Marshall 4510 all tube amp to a friend of mine who used to play hockey with, and I just lost track of him. And he actually used that amplifier for an Emmy-nominated cartoon. But I got this amplifier, and for the first time I'm playing an electric guitar for 7 years, and I'm going through scales, and everything was in tune. But you know, you've heard someone go up and down the keyboard or up and down a fretboard, or just because the words are in tune doesn't mean they make music or make interesting music. Okay, so yes, I was practicing, but you got to practice to get better. And if you get too technical, if I was, you know, running a G form pentatonic blues chord in the key of A minor, well, no one wants to hear that. They just want to hear some cool licks, right? Well, you know, it's cool to me because I threw a lot of effects on top of that chorus and reverb and some overdrive and whatever not stuff. But that doesn't mean anybody else wants to listen to it. You got to really work at your craft and form the words together to make it interesting and not technical, and give real world examples. And you mentioned Stacy before. I love reading her stuff because she always brings it around to something, and she'll come up with that weird color that nobody really knows, or that shade of whatever blue or red or whatever she's talking about. You kind of shake your head and you go, yeah. You know, instead of just reading words and technical information, it's like reading an instruction manual sometimes. a lot of wine and beer writing.
Yeah, and I think you get both kind of hit on the point. Is you're really starting to see this in the beer side, because you're just starting to see more and more blogs, and yeah, and Jeff, you were talking about how people are going to be upset by this. Nobody should be upset by this. You know, if you're just starting off a blog, you know, you shouldn't expect it to be wildly successful right out of the gates. You probably shouldn't be expected to be successful 12 months out of the gate, because, as they've both mentioned, you have to work on your craft, and not only craft, you have to find your voice in how you tell your stories. And I 100% agreed with everything he was saying, and I see it on the beer side as well. That's why I think, you know, Brian Roth, this is why I'm drunk blog, does such a good job, because that dude knows his voice, and you hear it in every single article he writes. You can literally hear him telling, you know, talking his stories to you. So, and Stacy's the same way. It's like it's like you're there. And you know, when, especially God, when I first started writing, all you could hear me pounding on the keyboard is about all you could hear when you were reading what I said, you know. And so I think if there are people out there that are just getting into blogging or working on their blogs or thinking about it, the biggest takeaway from this is don't be upset by this. Just realize that you don't know everything, for one, and that you just need to work at telling you the story in your own way. And that's what's going to come through. It's not your knowledge. It's not your tasting notes. It's how you convey it, right? Because, and we talk about this all the time we had Stacy Blair on the show. With every person that in the wine world that comes in here on this show, it's about the story. That's what sells the wine, right? That's what sells the bottle of wine. And think about it. When you go in and you're looking around, when somebody's hand selling to you, or you're asking the proprietor what they think, when they've got the story of the wine, you want to buy that wine. It's the same thing about your blog. There's 15,000 blogs out there. You're going to check a lot of them out, and you're not going to finish them because they're not getting that story across to you. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and and when you say story, Jeff, I think you mean telling us about your journey.
Yeah, about your journey, or about your experience with the wine.
Or it gets really, I can see where, you know, wine bloggers get hung up. You know, the thing that will turn me off right away. Back when I was doing a lot of videos all the time, whenever I saw other people were putting out videos, I'd make sure to watch those too. And when I would see people, I saw one person, she basically would do a tasting video where she would taste the wine and just basically read the text sheet verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to her website, and it was all like, send me your wine and I'll do that. It was like such garbage. But I can see that part where it's like, how do I convey what I taste? I know that I love this. How do I get this across? And I think the thing that a lot of really good wine writers do that make it really fun, if you want to talk about the story, is if you don't know the story of the wine, like how it got into the glass, tell me the story about how you feel about the wine. Tell me about that sense memory that you're getting as you're tasting this thing right now. Those are the things that people are going to care about. Because if all it is, and I've been guilty of it too, when I just wanted to like put something out real quick, you know, color, nose, taste, score.
Yeah, and he actually did put out posts like that. That was what it was said.
I definitely put out posts like that. And like the thing is, like, obviously, you know, that's not, people can do that on their own. You know, tell me why you really, really love it, why you're really excited about it. I think that's the thing that I'd love to see for more wine writers in
Absolutely.
general. As a recovering wine writer.
All right. Good stuff, guys. I really expected that to be a much shorter conversation, but I enjoyed it and good points. And I just want to take a moment to say hi. We've got a couple of viewers. Hi, viewers. Make sure you launch the chat and say hi to us. Good booze news, guys. But what do we got to do here? Oh my goodness. John, do you want to do the music for this one?
Well, I just wanted to say the bubbles in the top of my glass look like the Milky Way. But anyway,
did you have any Colorado San Juan Ruby Red added to that that wort?
My beer's a little hazy all of a sudden.
Because now it's time for
I'm for boom, 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 boom. Jeff Solomon's got a story.
Hey guys, I've got a story for you. So it's really about my afternoon, which I had so many plans. I had so many ideas. You know, I'm at this meeting at my school, this after school meeting, and it was the most boringest meeting of all time. It was one of those ones where the person like telling us this is like, legally we have to talk about this. Here's our meeting. Threw up a PowerPoint and just read off of it for like 30 minutes, and people are just like falling asleep, and then the principal goes, okay, I can see everybody's had enough, everybody go home. We got off of work early, and I'm like, this is so awesome. This never happens. And I'm like, I'm gonna be super productive. I'm gonna drive over to my mother-in-law's house because she got a new car seat because our kids are growing, and she doesn't trust anybody to install it except for me, but also because I'll do it for free. So I get over there and I install these car seats, and I install, you know, I got to switch one car seat over to the other side, and I put this car seat in, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I look down and I see one of the seat belts is trapped under where I locked it into the car. And so like everything's stuck and it won't work. So it took me, this thing that took me 5 minutes to put in, it took me 20 minutes to take it back out, put it back in again. So it took a little bit longer than normal, but I'm like, oh, okay, it's all good. I get a text from Kara saying like, hey, do you want to pick up some food? And when you get home, we'll all like eat together as a family. I'm like, oh yeah, totally. I stop over at this barbecue place that has some beautiful craft beer on tap. I order some barbecue to go, and I'm drinking a beer while I'm waiting. I'm like, this is awesome. And it was like, I just get this beer, and then 2 minutes later I get my food, and I'm just sitting there with this bag of food that's getting cold, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta chug this beer over.
But I gotta drive. I gotta drive.
It was just so you know, it was like an ultra session. It was like a 3.9% IPA.
Okay.
And yes. I'm very responsible. I get home, and it was one of those things where before I even put the key in the door, I can hear that it's a madhouse inside.
Like, do I really want to do this?
Those, I like, you know, I walk.
Maybe I'll go back for a second beer.
Yeah. And things are just crazy at my house. Parker is having a whale of a time. And, you know, we're eating barbecue, and like, he's just like flinging chicken all over the place with like, you know, just streams of barbecue sauce like flying in the air. And I'm like, oh,
so it's like you're eating with John Ruyak?
Basically. And then I'm like, we're done, you know, eating, and I gotta take care of Bennett. But Parker's still going crazy. I'm like, Parker, let's get you a show on the TV. And I go to work the remote control, and it's like, I go to press the volume button, and it turns on the guide, and I'm like, huh? And then I go to press cancel to get out of the guide, and then it goes to this settings menu, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, all of a sudden, like, any button that I push is not working, and I'm like, Parker, did you do anything to the remote control? And he's like, no. And he's being all coy. And I'm like, did he like change the settings on the remote control? Like, I don't know what's happening here. And like, so I'm hitting the satellite dish box like manually. Like, when's the last time you had to walk up to the TV and press buttons? So like,
that's so 1970s. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, man. And like, I find this thing, it's like reset the remote, and it's like, oh, this will take 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. That's probably what happened. And I get back and it's still not working. I put the kids down to bed. It's still not working. I'm getting ready to record our podcast, and I'm just like sweating. I'm like, if I don't take care of this now, Kara can't watch TV. And if she can't watch TV, then she's going to drink all this wine that I have to drink for the podcast. And so I'm like, I got to fix this. I got to do this. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, let me check the batteries. And I open up the little case on the back, and I pull out the batteries, and they're soaking wet.
Oh.
And there's water all up in the remote control. And Parker was already in bed, but I asked Kara, I go, did Parker do anything to the remote control? And she's like, well, he did start flinging water all over the place, so the remote control got wet earlier. And I'm like, yeah, a remote control is fried, man. Leave it to a 3-year-old to fry your remote control.
Did you put it in the microwave to dry it out?
I just threw it in the trash, man. I took the remote control in the room by the TV that we never use, and I paired it to the TV that we do use. And then I'm gonna call my provider and tell them, I don't know, all of a sudden the remote control stopped working, and see if I can get a new one. That's my story.
I've got a couple of questions about your story.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's about your entire commentary. Way back at the beginning, we went through Booze News, and you're talking about facts. We sometimes talk about facts. When do we ever talk about facts?
Hey, man, every once in a while I try to be factual here.
The other thing is, did you get a menu from your barbecue place?
I mean, I could tell you what's on it. There's chicken, and there's pork, and there's beef.
I thought they had smoked whale testicles on that menu.
Oh, nice one, John. I didn't see that coming at all.
You want some ice for that sick bird?
I got to tell you, okay, no one's going to understand this except you two. But for that video, I was really waffling back and forth on if I should put that in or not.
Like,
I ended up going.
You were just gonna drop some smoked whale testicles.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Just mid conversation, just somewhere in there, I was just gonna drop it, but I ended up not doing it. All right. A great story, Jeff.
No,
I guess it's something about this segment that just makes it go on and on.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah, I swear like that bowl of being before.
It was 2 minutes.
It's only going to be 3 minutes long. I swear. I swear. All right.
Boom.
Well,
boom, boom.
If it's
boom, boom.
Oh
boom,
yeah. Take us out, John.
Boom. And that's Jeff Solomon's story.
Well, I will say, when we go on tour, Jeff's doing all the singing.
Well, you know,
I need my little buzzer to go boop, key of B flat.
I did used to be in a very bad punk band when I was in high school. I used to work at a record store too, guys.
If we're getting the record store mentioned, it must be time for What's Up. So what do we have our eyes on, or what do we have coming up? John Ruyak.
Well, we're just waiting for the duty to be paid on the brewing system, and it could be delivered as early as next week. And then we'll get the stare at it for a couple days until we figure out or actually build up the nerve to put it together.
Only a couple days of staring at it?
Yeah, I don't really, you know how everything like stainless steel has that white wrapper on it and you're afraid to peel it off because then the fingerprints get on it.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Yes. Go ahead and answer.
Dave Ratsari just had Ratsari just had a question in the live chat, and I swear to you, it's the next thing in the show notes, and so I will just take this right now. You know what's up. It's the We Like Drinking Fantasy Football Minute that I swear will only be a minute long.
That's the term.
1, 2,
John, you got the
Okay.
3.
Stop with the
4.
counting. Don't do that. I can't talk like that. So yeah, I mean, sorry, Dave. I'm sure you wanted me to talk about I think you won this week or something, but it's not about you, man. It's about me. It's about me up against John Ruyak this week. I just love that Yahoo has these headlines that they write for matchup recaps, and this week it says, "The other Jeff beats smoked whale testicles." It was so fun to just destroy. I think John might have been in the lead for a little while, and I think it was it Monday night or Sunday night? Jason Witten, the dad runner, just closed everything out. He gave me like a 25-point performance. That was beautiful. I love old wide receivers that
Your minute's up, and he's a tight end.
that run like Celine Dion. Like he killed him for what? Dave Ratsari won against who'd you beat?
Who did Dave play? Did he play did he play Sloan?
I mean, I could look it up. Here we go. All right. Main Jeff, you won last week.
I did.
Yeah, you beat Rhea from the Felton Cover Bridge. Swankville Gangsta beat Jeremy from the Felton Cover Bridge. Mr. Destiny beat his brother, the Bold Peens. He beat Bold Peens. Dave Ratsari, wow, respectable. 103 points, Dave. 103. You know, I doubled that.
I lost with 129. I don't want to hear your shit.
I doubled that in week 1, Dave Ratsari.
Who did they beat?
Hey, it's now into 4 minutes.
Yeah, Sloan got destroyed by by the Master of Pink. Kimberly, she won. That's nice. You won. Tom Brady had a good week, and your team still only scored 109 points. But
hey man, you got to give. You know what? Hey, all right. Here's what. You know what? You got to eat some crow, Jeff Solomon.
Why?
2 weeks in, you threw down mad hate on Kimberly over her draft. And what's her record now? What's her record?
What is it? Is it 2-0?
It is 2-0.
What place is she in?
I don't know. She's 2-0, dude.
Oh, she's in 4th place. Guess who's in 1st?
Because it all comes back to you. The only reason we did this.
Here's the thing, man.
Is
like
to feed your ego.
Hey, if you're playing blackjack and you've got, if you're holding 20, you could hit and maybe you'll get an ace. It doesn't mean that you did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still effed up.
Kimberly, I'll say mad props. 2-0. Good job.
You know, there's a lot of luck involved in this.
We're running into 7 minutes here on this.
There you go. Fantasy football minute over.
Dave's talking to you. Pay attention.
Pink Princess will take other Jeff down to the credit union to pay off her debts for losing.
That made 0 sense. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll add. And Val is fast forwarding at 30-second clips right now. John Ruyak.
Yes.
You and I are going head to head this week. And you know what the pre-scores are? The pre-scores have us tied.
They always do.
They never do. Anyway, I have no chance.
They had
so
me and
I don't-
they had me and Solomon tied
You know what?
pre-scores
I've
last week.
got my
Anyway.
money on. I do have my money on Jeff Eccles this week. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to realize that your hands are not meant to sit on your hips while you're playing. They're meant to catch balls. You're gonna look at the tape and go, "Oh no, the hands should have been here, not here, here,
Not
and
here.
then."
Oh my God! You don't even know
that.
that joke. You don't even know. You don't have no idea what here, not here means. Anyway,
I made it up.
Mid.
All right. Eccles, we've got to move on. It's been like 12 minutes. Can we?
You have to play hockey with the. You have to play hockey with the Dragons to understand what here, not here means. Anyway,
Not with the dragon. Oh my God! I have to empty this bottle. Jesus Christ! I'm dealing with you two yahoos. Okay, bringing this back. Okay, I'm reining this back.
Is this
in.
a beer and wine pod? Is this a beer and wine podcast?
This is a chaos podcast. This is We Like Chaos.
Chaos.
And all
I
the
thought it
things
was
that come along
pronounced.
with it.
I thought it was pronounced.
We played hockey with a guy named Chaos.
That was Chaos.
Okay.
Did we talk about smoked whale testicles yet?
Oh God. Let's talk about some beer festivals.
Okay, please.
Let's do that. Let's bring it back in. Freaking FFL conversations every week just are torture.
Killing us.
I blame Double Z in the chat.
Okay. So hey guys, I mean, like John, I don't know about where you guys are, but it's like overload of festival season right now, especially on the craft beer side. Is it same where you guys are?
Angry Goats is going to be in a beer festival 2 weekends from now. We'll talk about that next week.
Nice. I can't wait to hear where you get lost.
Totes McGroats, we got so many fests coming up, including the Punk and Drublic Beer Festival and Punk Rock Festival in the Bay Area on October 14th. I'll see you there.
All right, excellent. When is that one?
October 14th.
Excellent.
Concord.
All right, and for those of you in the Colorado Springs area, either or, Saturday, September 30th, it's another important day that we might talk about in a bit. Focus on the Beer. Ryan Hannigan, our good friend that's been on the show a couple times, has his Cafe Craft Coffee and Beer Festival coming up. This is a really cool idea. So he has tasked brewers and some of the local roasters here in town to come together and come up with styles of beers and roastings to create unique and interesting beer offerings, showcasing the diverse flavors highlighted in each of their respective beverages. So they've actually gone out and said, okay, this brewer, this coffee roaster, you guys are going to come up with something, and then they're going to be there pouring it that day. I also like some of the stuff in here. You don't necessarily, you get like one tasting per place. You know what I mean? So it's a smaller venue. It's a smaller environment. So I'm really looking forward to it. And so if you're in the Springs, check it out. Some of the folks that are going to be there, John, you might know some of these Storybooks going to be there. Fossil is going to be there. Bristol, Red Leg, Paradox are some of the brewers that are going to be there. Mission Roasters, Switchback, Loyal, and the Story Coffee Company are all involved as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Check out Focus on the Beer, their website. You can get the links to the tickets. Still available, but I don't think they're going to be there for long. Running from $35 to $45, and all the proceeds go to Indie Give, a charity here in the Springs. Also, October 5th, 6th, that weekend, the Great American Beer Festival is coming, guys. John, how's GABF?
It's all the craziness and frustration that you can imagine getting in, tasting the beer, standing in the lines, but it doesn't matter because you're tasting some really cool stuff
From all over the place.
All over the place.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited. I was able to score some media credentials for it, so I will be going up Thursday night and Friday night. I will be there. I will be trying to do as much live stuff as I can from the show. I'm looking to. So if you are going to be at GABF, hit me up, Jeff@welikedrinking.com email, and let's try and get a hookup there. Try to coordinate something. Not our time, not our clothes, but you get my meaning.
GABF is a big pain in the ass, but you still have to go, and you'll still enjoy it anyway.
I mean,
Parking's a bitch. Getting in is a bitch. Dealing with all the other people is a bitch. It doesn't matter. It's fun. Imagine how fun it has to be in order to put up with all that shit and still have a good time. It's
like going to a concert, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
You know, it takes forever to get in. It's long lines to get in. You have to stand in line for a while. But you know what? The outside environment is awesome. It's a festival that goes on outside. If you're listening
to this, don't be that person with a shitload of pretzels around your neck in the spring. Don't be that person.
Don't be a knucklehead. Is that what we're doing now? We're just telling people like how to be.
Hey man, wait a minute. If you're one of those people that wears a string of pretzels around your neck, you know what to tell them, Jeff Solomon.
Give me a call and send me some pretzels. Quit listening to the show.
Make sure you tune in to the live show. Make sure you turn into the live feed from Great American Beer Festival. And if we're telling people to stop listening to the frickin' show, it's time for me to throw the lights on and say it's
what? Last call.
Last call. Time to clean house. Yeah, Jeff.
Last call.
And lock the doors. All right, folks. This is the point of the show where we beg you to do stuff for us and help us out. We got 3 things that we like to talk about. We've talked about them since episode 1, and it's always awesome because John doesn't seem to remember any of them. And I purposely took every mention of them out of the show notes this week. So, Jeff Solomon, what's one way that our listeners can get involved if they want?
You can totally get in touch with us on your favorite social media platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. It's just We Like Drinking. Hit us up on Twitter at We Like Drinking 1. That's the numeral 1. Jeff, I think we have Snapchat and Pinterest too. We got all that shit.
No, we don't have any of that.
We got Wikipedia. We got MySpace.
Hey, chat monitor, do your job while John Ruyak tells us another thing our listeners could do.
Okay.
What? Am I supposed to tell people something we're supposed to do? I mean, you could check us out on We Like Drinking 1. That's the numeral 1. That kind of stuff.
What did Solomon just tell us to do?
Yeah, man.
You know
in
what?
My class,
I was texting my wife who's 1,800 miles away at the same time because she's going to bed. So sorry.
Hey, okay. If you say something that somebody else said, you get shunned like this.
Oh,
you got shunned.
Have I been shunned? Have I been excommunicated?
Yeah. Why don't you tell them about reviewing us on Apple Podcasts? Tell them that.
Oh, is that what we're doing now? Is that iTunes, Apple Podcasts?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
How far past the 42-minute mark are we?
Welcome.
How many ounces are you?
Listeners, this is what happens when you chug 9% beer.
I'm not chugging. I'm not chugging. I'm sipping in large gulps.
John, take a nap. I got this. So another way that you can help out the show that seriously takes nothing but your time. You're already listening to us on Apple Podcasts anyways. Just go ahead and take an extra moment. Leave us an honest review. Give us those 5 stars if we deserve it, which we do. You know we do. Because it really does help
Back
out
to the
show.
Future 4.
And Back to the Future 4. And Jeff, why don't you tell them about Patreon?
And finally, listeners, you can go all in to helping us out and join our Patreon membership program. This is where, honestly, you give us a little bit of coinage for what we do, as little as $1 a month. I will say the $3 a month level gets you early access to videos we may produce. And our Patreon's got the insight into our latest video that I'm super excited about. And honestly, listeners, you may never see it. It may be the only way, because it is our acceptance speech for the podcast awards that's coming up on September 30th.
We've got a lot of listeners. I know we do. If you would just go in and do the $3 thing for just a month, and then cancel after a month just to watch our acceptance speech video, you will. I watched it 5 times yesterday, and I cracked up for like 15 minutes straight. And my wife and I couldn't even talk to each other. We were laughing so much. Yeah, it's worth $3. It is.
I think so. I'll just
but if you're gonna do that, you got to make it pop.
You got to make it pop, man. And thank you guys for last minute doing that. I will say that whole thing came to me when I couldn't sleep, like 2 nights before I hit you guys up and said, all right, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what I need.
You gotta do. I get this emergency text. You gotta do this. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
So hopefully on September 30th, everybody will be able to see it live watching the podcast awards. But if not, or if you want to see it earlier, man, I'm just telling you, $3. Visit
It's pretty the future. You could see the future because we
It is pretty
a
awesome
live broadcast like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, we already have an acceptance speech for an award that we're not going to win. This is so awesome.
So visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out more and become a member. We would love to have you. And, that was a lot of rambling and a lot of slurring from John. So that must mean it's time for Wait, Who Subscribed? Where I give you guys a quote from someone fictional or non-fictional, and you guys try to guess what it's from. All right.
Back to the Future 5.
Here we go. I have multiple voices in this one, so bear with me.
Oh, jeez.
You have my sword, and you have my bow, and my axe. All right, so there you guys go.
Council of Elrond, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, an hour and 15 minutes in.
Jeff Solomon?
I mean, I was going to go 3 Musketeers, but
well done, John. Well done. You earned the Nerd Award. Very, very well done. Let's see. You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast.
You mean it wasn't Back to the Future 6? Anyway.
Okay, panel. Let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
As Jeff Solomon stated earlier, the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
Jeff Solomon.
yeah. Well, you're touting facts, and I've got some alternative facts I'd like to share with you. I've got an alternative fax machine.
And before we get out of here, I will just throw a huge shout out to Dave Razari and Kimberly from the hashtag Pink Society for jumping into our live chat and filling our feed. We love it. Thank you guys so much. And with that, I'll say Thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast.
Where you'll never drink 9.3% triple IPA alone.
Viewers, it's waffled. It's been up and down. It's been up and down the whole time. But thank you for joining us. Make sure you turn in next week. What day is it on next week? The 27th. We may or may not have a guest. I'm working on it. We'll see. And we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, folks.
Peace.